Punctuation. Punctuation is used to create sense, clarity, and stress in sentences. Today we will cover full stop, comma, question mark, exclamation mark, apostrophe, quotation marks, semicolon, colon, hyphen slash dash, brackets and parentheses, capitalization rules. A. Full stop. The period, full stop or point. The period, known as a full stop in British English, is probably the simplest of the punctuation marks to use. You use it like a knife to cut a sentence to the required length. Generally, you can break up the sentence using the full stop at the end of a logical and complete thought that looks and sounds right to you. Use full stop, 1, to make the end of a sentence which is not a question or an exclamation. Examples: Nairobi is the capital of Kenya. I was born in Uganda and now live in Canada. 2. To indicate an abbreviation. Example: I'll be in between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Note: Dr. and Mr. and Mrs. and Miss do not take a full stop, nor do most abbreviations taken from the first capital letters such as MA, PhD, CNN. 3. Special case, 3 dots. Often you'll see a sentence concluding with 3 dots. This indicates that only part of the sentence or text has been quoted, or that it's being left up to the reader to complete the rest of the sentence. The Lord's Prayer begins, Our Father in Heaven, for, full stop after a single word. Sometimes a single word can form the sentence. In this case you place a full stop after the word as you would in any other sentence. Hello. Goodbye. NB. This is often the case when the subject is understood as in a greeting or a command such as, stop. B, comma. There are some general rules which you can apply when using the comma. Using the comma to separate phrases, words, or clauses in lists. 1. A series of phrases. On my birthday I went to the cinema, ate lunch in a big restaurant, and went dancing. 2. A series of nouns. The meal consisted of pizza, fish, greens, chicken, desserts and wine. 3. A series of adjectives. He was young, handsome, kind and intelligent. Note: if an adjective is modifying another adjective you don't separate them with a comma. Example: she wore a bright pink shirt. 4. A series of verbs. Ezekiel ran towards me, fell, yelled and fainted. 5. A series of clauses. The truck smashed into the wall, flipped on its roof, slid along the road, and finally stopped against a rock. Using the comma to enclose insertions or comments. The comma is placed on either side of the insertion. Example: India, one of the most powerful nations on earth, has a huge population. Use the comma to mark off a participial phrase. Example: hearing that her mother was in hospital, Judy left work immediately. Use the comma in tag questions. Examples: she lives in Burkina Faso, doesn't she? They haven't met, haven't they? Used to mark off interjections like please, thank you, yes, and no. Example: no, I won't stay a little longer, thank you. Misplacing a comma can lose friends. Putting a comma in the wrong place can lead to a sentence with a completely different meaning. Look at these 2 examples. I detest liars like Peter. I believe that honesty is the best policy. I detest liars, like Peter. I believe that honesty is the best policy. C. Question mark. Use the question mark, 1, at the end of all direct questions. Examples: what is your name? Do you speak Swahili? You're American, aren't you? 2. Do not use the question mark for reported questions. She asked me what my name was. He asked if I was American. Ask him where he is going. D. Exclamation mark. It's used to express exasperation, astonishment or surprise, or to emphasize a comment or short, sharp phrase. Examples: that's unbelievable. Get in. Look up. You can also use it to mark a phrase as humorous, ironic or sarcastic. What a lovely day. When obviously it is not a lovely day. That was clever. When someone has done something stupid. Some general remarks. Don't overuse the exclamation mark. Don't include a series of exclamation marks. Example: you'll never get it wrong. Apostrophe. The apostrophe probably causes more grief than any other punctuation marks put together. The problem nearly always seems to stem from users not understanding that the apostrophe has two different, and very important, uses in English. 1. To show possession and ownership, example, Jude's car. Christine's mother. Kenya's coffee exports have risen steadily over the past decade, possession. 2. To indicate a contraction, she is. Kenya's one of the main coffee-producing countries in the world, contraction. The possessive apostrophe in most cases you simply need to add s to a noun to show possession, examples, a car's engine, John's coat, Mary's book. Plural nouns that don't end in s also follow this rule, examples, the children's class, the women's work, the men's club. Ordinary, or common, nouns that end in s, both singular and plural, show possession simply by adding an apostrophe after the s, but proper nouns, names of people, cities, countries etc. can form the possessive either by adding the s or simply adding the apostrophe, examples, Mr. Jones's shop, or Mr. Jones' shop, Charles's car, or Charles's car. The ladies' room, the teacher's register, the priest's church. Note that the priest's church would only be referring to one priest while the priest's church refers to the group. Many large organizations now drop the apostrophe completely, examples, Barclays Bank, Missing Persons Bureau, when publishing their name. The apostrophe for contraction. The most common use of contracted apostrophes is for, hasn't equals has not, I've equals I have, also they've, we've, can't equals cannot, she's equals she has or she is, also he's. There's equals there is, I'm equals I am, it's equals it is, mustn't equals must not, let's equals let us. Remember, it's equals it is, contraction, while it's, possession. Whose equals who is, contraction, while whose, possession. Quotation marks. Although you will still see the double quotation marks used to quote direct speech, it's more and more common to punctuate speech and direct quotations with single quotation marks, with the double quotation marks reserved for quoting speech within speech. Examples, I haven't spoken to Richie for months, Helen said. The last time I spoke to her, she said, I am going to South Carolina and won't be back for about 3 years, I have heard nothing since then. Notice that the comma is placed within the quotation marks and that double quotation marks are only used when the quoted speaker is quoting someone else directly. Other uses of quotation marks. You must also have seen the single quotation marks used to mark out idiomatic expressions such as, I've always thought that she was very annoying, a bit of pain in the neck. They are also used outside of speech when quoting the title of a journal article, example, The Migration Flight of the Lesser Tweezle, by Jeremy Adams. Note that there are a number of ways of organizing such things as bibliographies which set out standard formats. Semicolon. The semicolon is somewhere between a weak full stop and a strong comma and used to join phrases and sentences without having to use a conjunction, and, but, etc., where the phrases or sentences are thematically linked but independent. Look at this example. Many great leaders, Churchill, leader of Britain during the Second World War, Alexander, the great Roman emperor and general, and Napoleon, the brilliant French general, had great strengths of character which were useful when their countries were at war, but also great weaknesses which did not serve them so well in times of peace. Notice how the semicolon works with the comma to enclose the connected phrases while the whole forms one logical sentence. Colon. The colon expands on the sentence that precedes it. There are many reasons for poor written communication: lack of planning, poor grammar, misuse of punctuation marks and insufficient vocabulary. Stephen had an eclectic taste in music, rumba, jazz, afro, amapiano, country and western, pop, blues and classical. Hyphen or dash. A hyphen joins two or more words together, example, X-ray, while a dash separates words into parenthetical statements, example, he was trapped, no escape was possible. Hyphens. Generally, hyphens are used to avoid confusion or ambiguity, but today most words that have been hyphenated quite quickly drop the hyphen and become a single word, examples, email and email, nowadays and nowadays. In many cases, though a hyphen does make the sense clear, he is thinking of recovering my sofa set, to put a new cover on it. I would like to recover my sofa set. Perhaps from someone who has borrowed it, as this means, to get it back. Hyphens and numbers. 1. Use a hyphen with compound numbers from 21 to 99. 31, 45, 81. 2. In written fractions, place a hyphen between the numerator and denominator. 1/5, 2/3, 7/100. 3. Use a hyphen when the number forms part of an adjectival compound. Tanzania has a 24-hour working week. She won the 100-meter sprint. Charles Dickens was a great 19th-century novelist. Consult your dictionary if you're not sure, but remember that current usage may be more up-to-date, not up-to-date yet, than your dictionary. There are some cases where hyphens preserve written clarity, such as where there are letter collisions, cooperate, bell-like, or where a prefix is added, anti-nuclear, post-colonial, or in family relations, great-grandmother, son-in-law. Dashes can be used to add parenthetical statements in much the same way as you would use brackets. In formal writing you should use the brackets rather than the dash. Examples: you may think he is a liar, he isn't. Brackets and parentheses. The difference between a bracket and a parenthesis can be a bit confusing. Generally, parentheses refers to round brackets, and brackets to square brackets. Usually we use square brackets for special purposes such as in technical manuals. Round brackets, or parentheses, are used in a similar way to commas when we want to add further explanation, an afterthought or comment that's to do with our main line of thought but distinct from it. Many grammarians feel that the parentheses can, in fact, be replaced by commas in nearly all cases. For example, further explanation. The government's education report, June 2018, shows that the level of literacy is rising in nearly all areas. Comment. I visited Masai Mara, which was full of tourists, on my way to the Narok for a trekking expedition. Afterthought. You can eat almost everything while traveling in China if you're careful to observe simple rules. Avoiding unboiled or unbottled water is one of the main rules to be aware of. Capitalization rules. 1. At the start of a sentence. It's a beautiful day. 2. With proper nouns, particular persons, places, and things. Examples: his name is Remy. He lives in Spain. He was born on Thursday the 6th of June, 2000. He lives at 10, Green Stoke Avenue, New Bay, Bristol. 3. With adjectives that come from proper nouns. Examples: we live in a Georgian house. She loved Nigerian films. 4. For the first and all of the main words in titles. Examples: the enemy of the people. The Queen of England. The Heart of Darkness, the Second World War, the University of Delaware. 5. For the pronoun I. Thank you for listening.